Hello again. Welcome to Center Stand Mechanics, and today we are going to torque on the rear brake disc to the rear wheel, and we're going to torque on the rear sprocket. And I looked up the torque settings last night, and so I got them written down on a piece of paper, and I'll just kind of go over that with you. Hopefully it'll be a short little video and how that's done. And it's kind of a rainy day out here. I've got myself set up underneath this roof overhang here, and yeah. So I was looking at these bolts. These are the bolts that hold on the rear brake rotor, and they were a little bit dirty, so I cleaned them off with some WD-40 and a scrub brush. I didn't want to scratch up the top of them, and I noticed there was a little bit of leftover Loctite on there, so I took them to my wire wheel and just cleaned the threads a little bit with the wire wheel. It's really important you clear the threads of any debris such as old Loctite or dirt or grease or anything, because you won't get a proper torque when you're doing this, and it'll probably loosen off or cause you problems down the road. So I wanted to mention that. So you want to make sure your bolts are clean. That goes for anything you bolt on. You want to make sure your bolts are clean. Super important. And it also, I was looking it up in the manual, and they call for putting a little bit of thread lock on these bolts for the brake rotor. So we'll do that too, and then we'll torque them down, and then we'll move on to the rear sprocket bolts. I wanted to torque them properly too. I've got them on there tight, but they just need to be torqued properly, and I got the setting for that. And then I'm going to set the air pressure on the rear tire. Service manual, it says to do it for single rider at 36 psi, and for double riding it calls for 41 psi. So I'm going to set it to 36. Okay, and yeah, so we'll get to it here. So this here, if you're not familiar with this is what's called a torque wrench. Many of you have seen these before, and this one is it's in foot-pounds on this one here, and on this side it's in Newton meters, but today we'll be using the foot-pounds settings. Okay, so this rear brake rotor, if you look at it closely, it's they've got countersink holes here for the bolts to go in, like that, and on this side they're flush, so that's the wrong way to go in, and then they go in like that. Okay, so that goes like this. Pretty simple. And then you want to apply a little bit of thread locker on each one of these. And I would assume that they want this on there so they don't back out while you're driving down the road. That wouldn't be good, because these are your brakes, and last thing you want to have happen is have your brake rotor come loose. Okay, I'll put the cap on that. And I'm just going to turn these in by hand as far as I can go. And again, Always good to do a cross pattern when you're bolting these down. And what I mean by that is I started here, go to this one, next one, this one, and then you go to that one. And that goes for just about anything, really. I mean, even if it's not that important, it's good practice to do. It's a good habit to get into. Okay, so I'm just going to snug these up with the regular ratchet, just until they're sort of tight. There we go. And then we're going to set our torque settings here. Okay, so asking for 16.5 foot-pounds of torque. So I don't know if you can see this. It's not, oh, that's this side. It's not very easy to read, but you turn this, and this is numbered here. It starts at 0, and then it goes around in increments. And then if you look at here, there's numbers, and it goes 10. It goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So you basically, if you want 16, you turn this, so there's 10, and the next one's 20, so it's going to be between 10 and 20. So you're going to go, so there's 10, 12, 14, 16, 16.5 right there. And then you can tighten up this little lock nut there. Double check that. Yep. So there's 16.5 foot-pounds of torque. Okay, make sure it's going the right way. Okay, so I'll probably stand here. And again, you want to torque these down in a cross pattern. There, you hear that little click? That means it's at the specified torque. Just double check it. There, simple. I'll just go around and check each one again. There we go. And that's that. That's all there is to it. And next I'm going to do the rear sprocket. I'm going to wipe off any extra Loctite that went on there. You don't want that on your brakes. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in here so it'll hold it when I torque on it. And I looked it up in the manual last night, and you don't need Loctite on these ones. It doesn't call for it. I thought it might, but it doesn't. So, and these actually are little lock nuts. If you look at them closely, they have like this little locking mechanism. It's like a little lock washer built into the nut itself so that they won't come off. So that's good. Okay, so now these bolts I think are a little bit, yeah, these ones call for 43.5. 43.5, so you loosen off this little lock nut and we'll go crank this up to There's 30. It's hard to see. There's 40. What is it? 40. 43.5 right there. All right. And this one is a 14 millimeter. It's really common size for bikes. You see a lot of 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, and 14 millimeter on motorcycles. They use those sizes. They're really common. Oh, I've got this little adapter here. Okay. So here again, we'll go cross pattern. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Until you hear a click. There it is. Nice little click. And then we'll just go around, make sure. There, that's all there is to it. So those are torqued, brake rotor's torqued on there. Got your Loctite on the brake rotor bolts. And one more thing I'm going to do is just bring the air pressure down, because I think last time I checked it was at 39. So I'm going to bring that down to 36. And plus I want to check it because I aired this up yesterday. I want to see how much it's changed. It's the same as yesterday. It should be around 39. Oh yeah, exactly. It's at 39. So we don't have any air leaks. Well, extremely slow if there is. So I know a little bit of air out. And that looks like 36 right there. Perfect. So tire pressure check. And yeah, that's about it for that, guys. So I'll probably, before I put the wheel on, I've got a balancer. I'm gonna balance the wheel, and I'll have to put some weights on it. I'll probably end up taking this one off, and I'll probably put new weights on it, and then we'll get that balanced before I put the wheel on the bike. So stay tuned for that video. And I've got some cleanup to do around where the front sprocket area is, where that cover goes, and so I'll probably shoot a video. I'll try to keep that one short as well, because it's kind of monotonous cleaning and stuff, but I just want to show you kind of how I do it. And so yeah, so that's that. So that's how you torque your bolts down and your nuts on your sprocket. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Center Stand Mechanics out.